Today, we are going through 5 text-only SaaS landing page tweaks to double your conversions without having to redesign it. So this is basically going to cost you no budget. You're not going to have to pay a designer to redesign your website. You're not going to have to pay one of your developers to rebuild the site. This is purely text-only updates that you can make. I think one of the biggest issues with SaaS websites is visitors land onto your site and they don't understand what you do, because attention spans are so short. They just see these big chunks, paragraphs of text, or this copywriting that's too kind of fluffy, and they just think, I don't get it. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you benefit me. And then boom, they leave. So that's what we're going to cover today in terms of how you can tweak your text to really boost those conversions. So your hosts are me. So I'm Ryan, I'm the founder of Rocket SaaS. We are a content marketing agency for SaaS companies. So we fit in with SaaS companies that are around that seed, Series A round. They've got a relatively small marketing department, often 1 or 2 people in marketing, and they're just massively under-resourced, so that they want to create lots of content. They want to do lots of LinkedIn stuff, email marketing, video marketing, lead magnets like these webinars, but they just haven't got the resources. So we partner with those companies and we basically become your marketing department, and we create a ton of content designed to generate leads. So that's me. And then Pedro, but I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I basically work with, B2B SaaS companies as well. Essentially, the very issues that they have in terms of explaining, how their product works, why is it better, essentially all the reasons why people should sign up in the first place, which is the only reasons why they don't really sign up is because they don't fully see that value. And that's where I'm here to fix, just helping companies with their messaging and their conversions. I've worked with 115 plus SaaS companies at this point, all B2B and all sorts of different niches. And we're going to translate some of those learnings into tweaks that you can make within like a day or two, right? Those are the ones we're going to cover. We're going to have tons of examples, so we'll make it as actionable as possible.
Awesome. All right. Well, if I stop sharing and you start sharing and you take over, I think you should be able to.
Yeah, now I can do it. Just let me know if I'm sharing the right screen here. You can see the presentation, right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump right in. So I'll just jump to the right slide. So yeah, guys, so essentially what we're going to cover is we're going to cover like 5 different tweaks, right? So we're going to start off with the perfect hero section, because that's your first impression. We're going to cover a few objection handlers. This is not something that SaaS companies do, so I'll show you what that is in plenty of examples. The aha moments, so stuff that people really only understand after they try the product. We're going to cover how we can get that same effect before they even try it, right? So something that you can put on the website. We'll show plenty of examples for all of these. Social proof that is actually believable, because that's a big issue with SaaS. They're always using very similar social proofs, not believable anymore. It doesn't even work anymore if we do it that way. And then call to actions that people want to take. This is something that I never see SaaS companies do it. I'm going to show you a few examples. There are literally like 3 or 4 different examples that you can use, and you probably had all the angles you'll ever need, right? So, and the last thing is obviously the Q&A, where you can just ask whatever questions you have about stuff that we talked about here, or anything conversion related, right? We'll be open to that. So the first thing that I want to talk about is we're going to talk a lot about a lot more about the what's, right? So what are the things, what are good examples? What are things that actually work? Instead of telling you the how and like teaching you the craft, the copywriting, because that can take years to master, we're just going to show you examples where you can slightly modify, implement it within a day or 2, and see results, right? Without you having to learn all that stuff, because that would take way too much time, right? So let's start off with the hero section, right? So what makes a good hero? Essentially what most SaaS companies do.
So a hero, just to stop you there. So
Yep.
just to clarify what section the hero bit is. So the hero is that top banner. So often referred to as above the fold. So as soon as you land on that landing page or the home page or whatever page it is, the hero section is referred to as the first thing you see before you scroll down.
Yep, exactly. Right. The very first impression. That's why it's so important that we get it right. And Ryan, feel free to interrupt as many times as you want. Otherwise, I just go through this like a bullet.
Okay, I'll try and slow you down.
That's my default,
style.
right? So yeah. So what essentially what SaaS companies try to do at that top of the page, at that hero section, is they try to explain the entire product, right? And that's not what we want. What we want instead, and we'll show you how to do it, is you want to create enough curiosity to either give it a try, or keep scrolling to learn more about the products, right? So I'll show you an example here, right? This is actually very vague. When you say something like people would love to use or the tools they love, like doesn't mean anything. It doesn't talk about our results. It's not showing the products, it's showing this vague image. And then there's no reason for me to scroll down or to even understand if this is relevant for me or not, right? So what we need to do instead, and this is what we've done, is we said, finally, there's a visual way to manage furniture, material selections from idea to installation. So essentially, we talked about the visual way, because this is for designers and they want to do that. That's why there are aha moments, even if it doesn't seem relevant for us. We say that this is designed for teams. We talk about the main things that they want to see, right? So they want to see that you can source, organize, and track projects. They want to see that you can do it from idea to installation. They want to see the ideal, like they want to see the team collaboration, because we talked about that there's the like client approval, then there's a shipping notification, then there's this communication between clients and someone in the team, right? So we're showing all these little glimpses of things that we know like can make or break the decision of someone like signing up, right? And we show it right from the hero. We don't have space to explain the entire products, but this is just enough space for them to, or just enough things that we cover for them to want to scroll down and want to learn more.
So the previous one, it was very vague. It just said, you will love, you know, it's a classic thing that a lot of websites do, is they just say, oh, we're a great software, you're going to love using it. Whereas what you've done here is, so looking at the very top in the capital letters, for software teams, design development software for teams. So it tells you exactly who it's for. And then finally a visual way. So that visual way, have you highlighted that for this presentation, or is that actually part of the design of the site?
Yeah, it's highlighted on the design of the website itself, because especially when you have a bit of a longer headline, if we highlight stuff like that, as you'll see in a couple examples down the line, it just makes it seem shorter, because the eye kind of prioritizes.
Because I guess a lot of their competitors, it's not visual. Like you manage your furniture and materials using like Excel or some kind of
so it's like a
system.
Glorified spreadsheets that they use, right? So that was the issue, and they are familiar with that. That's why this stuff that we talked about and we show the product and we say it's a visual way and all that stuff just resonates with them.
Yeah, and then bullet points is a great way to break things down, because a lot of companies, instead of those bullet points, they just have a paragraph, just like 50 words in a paragraph, which no one reads. You know, all the hot tracking data will tell you, the hot point tracking data will tell you people don't read paragraphs, especially in that hero. They'll just scroll straight past it. So you really want to have short, snappy sentences, or I also prefer doing things like this, just like bullet points using ticks or emojis. That just, people actually read it when it's short and broken down like that. I love the call to action as well. Start today risk-free.
Yeah, and it's also much easier to come up with this copy when you're just doing like bullet points.
Yeah, cool. That's a great example.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to show like the few angles that you guys can use, because there are like a few angles that you can use for different types of heroes. And then you should just choose whatever one kind of feels best to your products, and then run with that and essentially like use these examples as inspiration, right? So most of these are going to be from clients, because you know, we have like befores and afters and we have more backgrounds, but there are a few that are actually from other companies online, right? So the first one is, it feels like the solution. So what I mean, it's like the Uber for this niche, or it's like Slack or for another niche, right? So what I mean by this is, it feels like something they're familiar with. So what that does is it puts you in a category of something they already like, or no, it's like it's really good, right? So what we did here is this client has an order portal. So we did is finally an order portal that feels like it was custom built for you, because what we're doing is you actually make it as custom as you can without the six-figure cost. Because if they had to create one that was actually custom, it would cost like 6 figures, right? So that's what we did. We showed exactly, because if you click on these things, it actually changes the image here. We showed the main things that they care about. That they care about quotation generation, spare parts ordering, field service support, and order tracking. It's only relevant for them because this is for manufacturing. And then they can see exactly how they can use it. That is custom built for them. That is going to be up and running in 2 weeks. They don't have to do any of the setup. And yeah, sometimes people might just book a demo without even having to scroll, because it really talks about the main things they care about.
Yeah,
right?
nice. Yeah, I think a lot of SaaS companies, that's what they're kind of trying to solve, is it coming across as being custom built. So I think literally saying that and underlining it in the headline, that's what a lot of people want, because a lot of people are using multiple softwares or multiple, Microsoft Word and Excel, and trying to create all this data to talk to each other. But really, they just want one kind of all-in-one solution. So yeah, I like that example.
Yeah. So if there's a company that you're targeting that considers creating a custom solution for them and spending hundreds of thousands, this is an angle that could work really well for you, right? For that type of product. So the second one is a headline about the program. So what you want to do is you want to quantify the program as much as possible. So this is a headline from Barometrics Recover. This is actually done on a webinar as well, like a few years back. And what we did is we said around 9% of your MRR is at risk due to failed payments. So this is an add-on that Barometrics offers that fixes your failed payments. So what was happening before is they see it as a nice to have, right? They had to reach out to customers to try to sell it. They would book demos and all that stuff. Once we changed it to this page, people are signing up without even like booking calls anymore. They were coming back just because of this product, because there were a few customers that churned and come back because of this. It just worked insanely well. The product was exactly the same. We just quantified how big of a problem there was, because it just wasn't aware of them.
Yeah.
Right?
So I guess
now we're telling them
previously they would have been saying something like, you're not really quantifying it with a percentage. It would have been saying like, yeah, a lot of companies are losing a lot of money through failed payments. Very kind of broad, not very specific. But even just putting that percentage in there, just that 9%, it just immediately makes it sound more real, makes it sound more intriguing. Yeah, so that can work really well. So I always try and encourage my clients when they're creating content, or we're creating content for them, particularly that headline, is, have you got any stats that we can pull out? Is there any kind of facts and stats that we can put into a percentage? Does your SaaS software enable your customers to do something like 25% faster, or can they save 32% costs? And a lot of people ask me like, well, we can't quite quantify that with data. And say, well, you should, let's try. It doesn't have to be, you can always add an asterisk and said, based on, our like 50 average of our 50 clients, they're saving X amount. So yeah, I'd always encourage companies to just try really hard to find facts and stats. Like we were working with a client recently, and they did a software that helps you create documents faster, like legal documents. And we really drilled down, and they kept just saying, oh, it enables our clients to create documents faster. I was saying, no, how fast? Like, give me a number. Like, is it double? Is it triple? Is it changing a document from taking 10 minutes to creating 2 minutes to create? Really need to get specific on that. And it just makes it just so much more believable.
Yeah. And I do have an example similar to that. Essentially, the short answer to all this stuff is that there's always a way to quantify it. So we just need to find that angle, right? Because there's always a way to quantify it. So what this did is it reminded them that this is actually a way bigger issue that they thought, but at the same time, they can fix it with this add-on and with a 10-minute setup, right? So it was really irresistible. They only paid based on the money they recovered. They look at the stat and they say, if I'm losing 9%, I'm losing like 10 grand a month. Right. So it's always quantifying the problem. It made it really urgent, even though the product didn't change at all. Right.
Yeah.
The other angle, which is very similar to exactly what you said, is instead of talking about the problem, you talk about the results. So actually, in this headline, this is a tool for logistics companies, like they're shipping stuff and they need to take pictures. Otherwise, if they don't take pictures and the stuff that gets damaged and they're not able to prove it that they didn't do it, they get fined for like 100 grand or something. Yeah. And then what we did is you make error-proof inspections 50 to 300% faster. And we're talking actually about two results. So making it error-proof and 50 to 300% faster, right? So there are no more spreadsheets or any, because they're how they usually do it, or with WhatsApp and all that stuff. We also show the before and after, and we show a lot of companies that are already using it, right from the hero.
Now, this is a great example. So like really short one-line headline with two really key massive benefits. So like you said, yeah, error proof and that statistic of how fast it is. And then, yeah, I love the example at the bottom. Like we do this a lot with SaaS companies, is show them a screenshot of what it used to be like, or what they're currently frustrated with. It's often Excel. You know, a lot of SaaS businesses are taking over from Excel. So yeah, showing side by side. Yeah, I think it's a classic example. And then customers in the middle, nice clean calls to action. So yeah, not even a lot of design going on, but it's just very clear. Even the headline alone, that one liner, if you worked in that industry, you'd immediately just read that headline and go, well, I'm intrigued, I want to schedule a demo.
Yeah, because even like obviously this example is a little bit smaller, but and also we're not in that niche, so it's not as relevant to them or people in the audience. But if you this might look like Google Photos or iCloud or something where it has all the pictures in one place, but actually to them this is insane, right? Because they have all the pictures, they have like they have all the data from the weather at that time to see if the weather damages the shipments, or like literally everything. So
yeah, well, yeah,
that's a huge aha moment.
That's great. Yeah, and what's also interesting about that headline is it doesn't describe the product at all. It doesn't say anything about pictures, or it just purely talks about results. And the benefits. So I think that's a key kind of takeaway, is you don't really need to talk about how you do it in the headline. You need to talk about the results that you give to your customers. The kind of how we do it, that's where you can go into the smaller text underneath, or even scrolling down the page. That the key thing you want to tell people in that headline, which is arguably the most valuable real estate in your whole marketing, is that headline on your homepage. So yeah, that's what you really want to talk about, results.
Yeah, and that's a better way to explain this, because if the hero talks about the results, the question they get immediately afterwards is, how the hell can you get me such good results? That's how they scroll down and learn more about it, or they just sign up right away because they'll rather you tell them. Depends on the people. Obviously, the people that sign up right away is probably like 10% of the total leads that you might get, but still you're getting like both, right? So this kind of explains the purpose of the hero again, right? The last angle, that was like the last angle. The ones that we want to do, there's actually similar to some of the things that we are going to do throughout the entire page, or what I like to call objection handlers. So essentially what they are is there are all these questions that keep people from signing up, and I'm going to give you a few examples. And we know that once we address these questions, that we're guaranteed to have some sort of increase, right? Because that is one of the reasons why they don't sign up in the first place. With the examples, this will make more sense. But essentially, if you think of your landing page as a salesperson, right, and your website is like a 24/7 salesperson, if they don't address objections, they'll never close the deal, right? That's the exact same thing that we want to do on your website, right? So essentially what's happening is, let's say you have all this traffic coming into the website, right? And then a few people start wondering, how does this work? I don't really get it. How is this different than what I'm using now? Why is this better than this competitor I'm considering? How long does it take to set up? There's literally all these different questions. And for every single one that you don't address, it's a reason for them to leave, a reason for them to go with some other competitor. They just don't see the value that you offer, right? So only a small percentage, and likely these are the ones that are converting now, say, screw it, let me try it anyway. Let's see what they have to offer. Let's see if they can fix my problem, right? So instead of just converting this guy, what if we convert a percentage of these guys as well?
Yeah, I think if you speak to, I'm sure a lot of people in this call will have worked in sales, or they currently do the sales for the business. Any salesperson, that's a big part of what you do in your sales job, is that you are just handling objections. You're trying to convince someone to work with you, and they're just saying, well, what about this? What about that? Well, I'm not sure about the price. What's the payment plan? Blah, blah, blah. And they're just experts at objection handling. But websites, for some reason, are not very good at objection handling. So yeah, that's what I think we're covering now, is basically how your website can start to cover some of those objections, so that they're more keen to get to that sales stage in the pipeline.
Yep, exactly. And we'll then show you down to the categories, right? So the type of objections that you can get are objections around integrations, right? So what integrations do you offer? How can I use them exactly? All that stuff. These are categories, right? So within each one of these categories, there can be like 5 objections. So you know how deep this can get. Then there's setup time. So setup and migration. How long does it take to get started? How long does it take to migrate from one tool to another? That's that type of stuff. Then there's compliance concerns. Obviously, the bigger the company, if you're not compliant, they can't buy. That's end the story. Then there are security concerns, which is very similar. And then we have training, right? So how long would it take to train my team? That also includes if I have to change my process or not, right? So let's say you have a CRM for salespeople. If they have to change their sales process, or they think they have to change their sales process, you're never going to sell them, right? Because no one wants to change it. Even if it's not true, they might see that.
Yeah, a good phrase I heard once is that your biggest competitor is the status quo. So when you're speaking to, if you're speaking to 100 prospects, most of them are going to not go with a competitor or go with you. They're just going to stick with doing what they're doing. And the main reason they're going to stick is because of some of those objections that you just listed there. Like time is a big one. People think, like, if I want to go with your SaaS platform, how long is that going to take me to install? Am I going to have to rip up my whole IT department? Am I going to have to be like, how much downtime am I going to have? So that's a classic objection. Also, how much time is it going to take? Like, I'm a busy person. Like, I don't have time to do like 10 hours of onboarding and learning this new software. You know what? I can't be bothered. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So those are, key objections that I always hear. So if you can reference them from the off, that is a great way of increasing leads.
It's even worse than what you're saying, because I remember this client here, Better Agency. They had people assume, and they always assume that that's actually the problem, that onboarding would take 3 months. It would take 3 months to move from one CRM to another. And that's not, like, they assumed this and it wasn't the case. That's why we created a section for this, which this onboarding part is related to the setup category, where we said it takes hours. We showed the team that they have to show it's a real team and it's based in the US. That's actually a concern for them. We show the team, we show that the team does it for you. We show that we're not going to take much to do it like others do, like we're seeing right here. So essentially putting them at ease with this, one of the biggest concerns that they have. Right.
So whereabouts would you put this on the page? So the previous section, we're talking about the hero, the very, very top. Where roughly would you put objections?
Yeah. So first I do the hero, then I explain how the product works, and only after this I show how long. Like, I show these objection handlers. The reason for that is that's when the excuses come, right? So for example, in a demo, if you think about the sales metaphor as well. You might be doing a demo, they might be loving it, but when it comes to the end where they want to sign up, that's where all the rejections come up, right? Because they might think, oh, how long does it take to set up? Or what about this feature? Or what about that, right? So when those thoughts start coming up, those doubts start coming up, that's when we need to address it. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Not in the middle, otherwise
makes sense. So it's a natural flow. So at the hero, that they've really been impressed by the results they can get. Then they scroll down a bit, they learn about the products and the benefits. Then they come down and they start thinking, okay, I know what it is, but this, that, and the other. And then that's where you start handling objections. So sort of maybe 2/3 down the page, something like that.
Yep, exactly. That will do.
Cool.
And then it could be the costs. So for example, like cost savings or hidden fees, like small businesses still believe that they're going to get some sort of hidden fee from a SaaS company, even if they don't tell you. I've seen this a million times. Or they feel like they're going to have like weird contracts that they cannot get out of, right? They have all these fears that if they don't address, that's like one of the reasons why they don't sign up, right? It's much easier to reduce the risk than it is to make your product feel better, right? So there are 2 levers that you can pull to increase the conversions, which is to reverse the risk or improve how they see the result that you can provide. Right. So what we're doing here is reducing the risk. Right? Yes. With all of these.
So we had that with my business. So at the marketing packages that we offer to our clients, the first objection we would get would be, how long do I have to sign up for? Like you're charging $3,000 a month. Was it a 12-month contract? And always that'd be one of the first questions. I say, no, it's rolling monthly. You cancel any time. And then suddenly they go, oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's good. So then we now put it in like big red font on our website, rolling monthly, cancel anytime. We don't tie you into 12-month contracts. And that's massively improved lead gen. So similar to what we're looking at here, refund any unspent payments. So I think previously you said that this company just weren't saying that on the website, but it's the #1 objection that people were having.
Yeah, so this is a company where you can create credit cards and give it to attendees or your employees as gifts. They're using like gift cards before. What would happen? They would pay the gift cards. People wouldn't use it. They would lose all this money, right? And bigger companies, because they wanted to attract big companies, that would mean that they would spend like a load of money that would be wasted because of this. So we put it in the front in the like really in front of people. This wasn't like obvious at all. They didn't even talk about this before. And then we show that with every single person, or even if they don't use all the money, let's say it's a $20, $20 gift card and they use 15, you get $5 back, right? So it means that a big company looks at this. I have thousands of employees. I can save 300,000 every year. What happened is instead of then attracting 5,000 deals, $5,000 deals, which is the average that they were attracting before, they started attracting a few 5-figure deals, 6-figure deals like once, and all that stuff. So it really changed the people that were already checking this out as a potential solution, but they weren't signing up at all just because of this.
Yeah, great. Yeah, being upfront about cost as well. Like there's a lot of SaaS companies that don't give away their pricing on the site. Some people try and gate it, which is, what are your thoughts about that? Do you say that all SaaS businesses should have their pricing on their website?
I mean, ideally, yes, but there are niches that you cannot deny that you have to hide the price. This is a limitation of some more old school type of niches, but there is an excuse that can go around it where you can say the price can be custom to them. You can personalize how many contacts you use or how much support you get. So if you do that with that sort of excuse, from some people, for the target that they're looking for is actually even more attractive if you do it that way, right? So if you do it with big companies, the more custom it feels to them, that's exactly what they want, right? So they might choose you over anyone else just by feeling that they can personalize the package to their company better than what they could have to someone that has the pricing publicly.
Yeah. I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, I think I agree. I think if you're selling to enterprise and it's in the kind of tens or hundreds of thousands, then you don't necessarily have to show the pricing on the website. It might be best not to. But I think any, like certainly sort of B2C or anything where the pricing is like below $1,000, then I think most companies should really be showing their pricing. Just to kind of that kind of demand generation model of just giving people what they want. Which generally is the way that the whole marketing world is going, is that's how you will get more leads, and you'll get much more hot leads rather than a bunch of really cold leads of people are asking how much it costs and like wasting a salespeople's time because they're tire kickers. Okay, but that's interesting. But one thing I was going to say about like objection handling is have a meeting with the salespeople in the company. Like have a meeting with whoever's like the frontline salesperson. What objections are they being asked all the time? And that could be really interesting. So your salesperson might say, yeah, everybody asked me this question. So, okay, well, we need to put that objection on our website then, because that's clearly what people care about. That's what they're interested in. Cool. All right. What's the next one?
Yeah. So the next one is about support, which is also really relevant. So essentially what you need to talk about is how fast you provide support, but also who's going to give you the support, right? And what exactly you help them with. So here's what I mean. I had this other client that the first one is a random example online. The second one is from a client. I had a client that had this ad server that's their software solution, and their competitors were like the support they were providing wasn't coming from developers. So what we did is we saw that not only we have 24/7 supports, but all of the supports is coming from real developers. They never talked about this before. And this is one of the biggest complaints that they have about competitors, right? So we show that you get replies with less than 1 hour, and every single person is a developer that can help you fix the issue, not point you to a help desk article, right?
Yeah.
It's totally useless.
That's really annoying. Yeah, like that.
It's completely different.
Yeah, a good way to sort of find what is frustrating your prospects by your competitors is looking at your competitors' negative reviews. So if you go on your competitors' review websites, look at their 1-2 star reviews, what are people complaining about? Yeah, some people might be saying things like, I really hate the support. I have to wait like 15 minutes for a support ticket, or they just send me to an article. I really hate that. And then you know that your prospects care about that. So you can put that into your website. You might even have to tweak your business model to be better than your competitors and be very kind of vocal about that.
Yeah, and if you can pay attention, if you're getting like a lot of customers that previously were using a different products, those are the ones you need to pay the most attention, because they'll tell you why they switched, and why they switched is it kind of tells you everything that is wrong about other companies that can use as your USP in case You kind of just forgot what your USP is or how to communicate it, right? Because that's like the best way to do it. Then another one that we can do is based on a feature. So essentially is when you turn like a feature into an outcome. Basically what I said is we could have said, hey, you can save time with reports. But actually what we did is we said you can save 7 to 10 hours designing these reports, because these reports are generated automatically. This is from the design tool that I was showing you before. And what the objection is does it do this thing? Or what kind of reports does it generate? Or does it generate all the documents automatically? All that stuff. So what we did to address it is we showed all the different types of reports that the tool can generate, right? So not only they understand that they save time, but they understand all these different types of supports that they'll never have to do again, right? It just quantifies it.
Yeah.
Right? Very similar.
Nice. Okay. I also like the way that those graphics have been simplified. So I always reference, we won't bring it up now, but I always reference the Slack website. If you go onto slack.com, do it on incognito mode because it'll probably log you into your Slack account, but you can see how Slack display their software. You can see that on this thing that Pedro's showing, you see those little gray rectangles in the graphics, those kind of gray bars. That's like them replacing text. So a lot of SaaS companies make the mistake of taking screenshots of their software and just dumping it on their website, and just end up with loads of like really small font and loads of features that you can't really see. Whereas what these guys have done here, they've just stripped out all that detail and just pulled out, well, essentially they've just kind of put out the headline of each of these and made it look kind of broadly like a software or a spec sheet. So that's also really important from a graphical point of view, is to really simplify it and just pull out the key features rather than complicated, boring looking screenshots of software.
Exactly. That would make like a big difference, like visually, it's just easier to process.
Yeah.
Like one of the last ones we have here is about integrations. So instead of saying we integrate with the tools that you love, what you want to do is what tools do you integrate with? Because some companies don't even talk about it at all. But also, what can you build with it, right? So example, with this client, we've broken it down to categories. And we actually shown what are all the things that you can do with it, right? So for example, with support tools, you can send it to your customer success team so they can manage the reviews, because this is a tool for managing reviews for e-commerce companies. With Facebook, you can add reviews to your Facebook page that were left on your website, like automatically, right? So we're showing what can you do with them, not just showing that we integrate with them, right? You want to be almost like Zapier that gives you a few examples of what you can do with each integration you can come up with.
Yeah, it's a great way to add authority by adding these logos of these huge brands. Some of them won't allow you to do it. I think Amazon are a bit funny about you using their logo. But yeah, it just adds a lot of credibility. Like I've got a lot of clients that, because they're startups and they're small, they don't have any like big clients that they can show the logos of. But if you integrate with these big platforms and just add those logos, it does just give the brand a lot more credibility. And like you say, if you work with those, it's an obvious one. Great, they integrate with what I use.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest things that they care about anyway, right? Obviously, if you don't really have big logos, what you can do is the better we explain the product and the more convinced of the result that you provide, sometimes it's just even better than logos from big companies, because they might not necessarily relate to those big companies, right? So the last one, and this is like the second to last one, let's say, is the team. So essentially what I want to do, like real quick with this one, is just showing how can the team collaborate together, right? Because if they feel like this is going to be a tool that only one person in the team can use it, or even if they don't feel like that, but they don't see other people in the team using it, which means if you charge per user, 1 or 2 people might sign up, or actually a lot more people could have been signing up for this. An example for this is Canva, because their biggest growth opportunity right now is instead of getting one person that is generating a few reports and making them pretty, they can actually have every single person in the team, or most people in the team that are creating presentations or social media posts and all that stuff, everyone using Canva, because everyone can use it. And that means that they like triple the amount of money they make per account, right? Just by showing that that's possible and that other teams do it, it just plants the seed of them eventually having more people in the team doing it. So that's something you want to do. And obviously there are a few objections that people have around, can I use my team? Can I collaborate people? Can I give different access, like password only access or view only access? Can I edit this? All that stuff, right? So
yeah,
anything about
it gets a bit annoying when you sign up to a platform and then that you end up having to pay $10 per user. It's like, I didn't realize that. I thought it was $10 for the whole thing. So yeah, bringing that up front is also good.
Yep. Also, something more on the pricing side as well. Yeah, and also if you communicate the value for the entire team, it's probably easier to charge that amount per user because it's like justified in their head, right?
Yeah.
Then we have about the setup, right? So the setup is essentially how fast it is to get started and why is it easy. In this case, for the client, I show that actually is going to be up and running in 2 weeks, and they're going to do everything for that person, right? So they're going to have a partner setting up the order portal for them, right? So that's what we said, how long it takes, up and running in 2 weeks, and then we'll set it up for you, right? That's what you want to do as well. So if all you have to do with in terms of setting it up is migrating from spreadsheets, just say that, how fast you can import your data from another tool or something, right?
Yeah, no, I love that design. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-word headline, and then just 3 tick bullet points, simple as that. Again, just rather than having a paragraph of text, which most websites try and do, they'll try and put that in a paragraph. So I'd urge everyone on this call to just look at each section of your homepage, and whenever you see a paragraph that you think that's a bit of a long read for someone, then just try and flip it so you can change it to look like that. So 1 really simple headline, and then just 3 bullet points. And that it just means that people will read and digest what you're trying to say to them, as opposed to just skipping over it and then not understanding what you do.
Yep, it's much easier to process this way, and with most sections. You just don't want to overdo it too much, because otherwise, as they scroll down, they kind of become numb to it, because all sections look the same. That's the only thing you need to be aware of. Then we have ones around like compliance, which basically says, for example, when it comes to like big companies, they want to make sure that they can, that you have the certificates, and is it easy to stay compliant? So with this company in particular, we just said that you have templates, you have e-signatures, and you have this certificates, because that's the way that they can stay compliant, because they need to send some sort of survey to every people that they contact to agree with this. So it's not relevant for us because we haven't seen that process, but this is for a call center, like for really big call centers, and that's something that they legally need to do, right? Which no one would ever know if they don't have a really big call center, right? A bonus one is actually scale, which is from the same company as the last one. Is you want to show, if you want to attract the enterprise level customers, you want to show how big of a scale you can handle, right? So for example, this is one of the only CRMs that can handle up to 1 million leads at a time. And actually, this is something that they wanted to do, because what they did in the past is they bought several licenses of the same CRM to get like 100,000 in this account, 200,000 that account. This one, you can have everything at once, right? And that's made a big difference. With these couple of changes that we talked about, they actually got nearly 2x the conversions, and this was and made the paid ads profitable, because at the time they weren't. The company was also acquired, I think a year later, more or less. And it's been 4 years and they still use the same page. So it must be working pretty well.
Nice.
Right. So that's it for the objection handler. Is anything that you want to add to this one, Ryan?
No, I think that's good. Let's move on.
Okay, perfect. So then we have the aha moments. So essentially is the aha moments that people have when they jump on a demo, when they try it out, all that stuff. That is the thing that gets them to buy. The problem is they only see it after they book a call, or after they actually try it, right? So what if people could see that aha moments, that thing that gets them to buy before they even sign up, right? That's what we want, right? So they come in with like a much better perspective of the value that you guys provide, right? So that's what we want. So I'll show you an example. So this is like the before, where we said is focused on building, just building these automations instead of showing you what is the result of building it. This is like from a customer support tool. It's actually better than normal because they actually have this video showing how they're building it. So that's already better than normal, but it still is focusing on building, not the results, right? And also it doesn't show me how much time it actually takes or how is it easy, right? So what I did is I edited it with a Chrome extension. So you can see it's literally text only. And you can say create behavioral workflows with drag and drop. So essentially says it's really easy because it's a drag and drop interface for people that are not technical. We actually show it on the side of it being built. And we also show that you can start with 35 plus pre-built workflows. I made that up because this was an example I found online and I edited it. Or you can create your own, right? So you start with pre-built templates because there's 99% chance that they have these already. Or you can create your own. So not only you have something fully custom, it's really fast, it's a drag and drop experience. I can see what it looks like. You addressed everything.
Yeah, nice. So previously it just said automate your marketing. Again, very broad. Loads of people are saying that sort of thing. It doesn't really tell me anything like automate my marketing. No idea what that talks about. But now, yeah, you change it to create behavioral workflows with drag and drop. So yeah, behavioral workflows, that's what I'm creating. Yeah, I wish I could do it with drag and drop, because at the moment I'm creating them with code. And then, yeah, 35 plus pre-built workflows. Yeah, it's just very, very specific in terms of what I need. And then, yeah, again, using that number to kind of quantify exactly how much I'm getting. So yeah, that's a good theme throughout this workshop.
Yeah, it just makes everything easier to start off with. And it's just way more irresistible. They can start off with a pre-built workflow, right?
Yeah.
Then what you want to do is you want to make it as like as visual as possible, right? So let's say you don't have like a way to, like the other example before, we don't have like a really good way of showing what it looks like, or like recreating the interface with an Illustrator or something like that. What it can do is you can record little videos of that feature that you want to talk about, and then you can use it to explain the product, or literally like screenshots, or like videos like I've said in the previous example and in this one, right? So this is essentially a video showing that there are over 1,700 pre-made templates, right? That they can just go through and create copy. So this is from one of those AI copywriting type generators. And then they're actually showing how many templates they have, how easy you can build them, and all that stuff, right? So show versus tell, and that means you don't even require a designer because you can just record a little video of your product, right? Then when it comes to social proof, right? What we want to do, and this one is like pretty easy, is what most people do when it comes to social proof is you do something that is really vague. It doesn't talk about the results. It's not really believable, right? And what we want is we want something that say, oh, I really want that results, and I just want to sign up because I relate to this person and I want that results, right? So we'll show you two befores and afters. So this was a social proof section from a client where they had really big reviews, essentially saying, hey, I love this product, or this is the best tool, or like whatever they want to use. So they have a compilation of these. They have like 4 slides of these saying that they love the tool, and that doesn't mean anything. I don't know who this guy is. I'm not sure if he has the same role as me. I don't know if he has the same problems as me. I'm not even sure what results he got, right? So what we did was we completely changed this. Actually, they recorded testimonial videos, but still we can use this with quotes and just their face. And now we did, here's why manufacturers use Trigger, right? So we show who is using it, the results they got, someone that I can relate to because it might have been a similar company that I know about, or I understand their role and all that stuff. So we said, we created an MVP in record time. Now we have 24/7 inventory insights. We have 40% reduced by 50% the time and money spent on human mistakes. So all of these are the different results that the product provides.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think what you'll find is when you get a testimonial from someone is that they'll be kind and they'll write a lot. You know, they'll write you like 200 words, something like that, because it feels rude to write a short testimonial. Like if I wrote you as testimonial as short as that guy on the left, I would feel a bit rude. So, but you don't want to put the full testimonial on your website because again, it's just another paragraph of text I can't be bothered to read. So you just take out the best sentence from the testimonial, or you kind of politely ask the client, oh, hey, can I just like take out this and that and this from your testimonial and just put it into one sentence like this? And of course they're going to say yes. Or you can even just rewrite it to exactly what you want it to be, pop them an email and say, can I just say that instead? And again, they will obviously say yes, unless you're completely making something up. They'll probably say that yes anyway. So yeah, that's really key, is to just take the snippets. And again, a bit of a theme of this workshop that we're doing is numbers. You know, he's the second one there talking about 24/7, the next one along, reducing 50% of time and money spent. So I doubt that I mean, maybe these testimonials, when they were originally written, didn't actually use those stats. Maybe, the client probably went back and said, can I call that 50% rather than,
Yeah,
what
they
you've
essentially
vaguely
said
written?
this. They said what they had here, because that's what
Oh,
they had
yeah.
before.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, don't be afraid to like tweak the testimonials that you receive, to even rewrite them to make it sound better, for you, and also much shorter. As long as you run that by the person that's giving you the testimonial, they're always going to say yes, and it's just going to help. It's going to allow people to actually read it and therefore make more leads.
Yeah, and they're like, just to put more emphasis on that, they always say yes. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have any problems with that. They always say yes. As long as you have a happy customer, you can always do that. One last example as well is that there's like this comparison page that actually had just a few hundred visitors every month, but is one of the things that they wanted to check before, see if they want to buy or not. So this is a CRM, like a email automation tool, which is one of the most competitive markets in SaaS. And what we did is, okay, we know that people want to switch from Infusionsoft, right? Or ActiveCampaign and all this stuff. So we did it for several companies. So this is just one of them. So we said real businesses and agencies already switched from Infusionsoft, and here's what they have to say. And then we say this guy saved 80,000 a year. It's much easier to use campaigns. So this, for agencies, they want to create the campaigns faster. So this is like insane. And then this is just saying that is like easier to use than Infusionsoft and all that stuff, right? So we have like a video interview, which is also very low production, easy to do. We have a really good headline. Man, people look at this and say, and they think like Infusionsoft is the enemy at this point. They charge way too much. They're harder to use, right? You'll leave this page knowing that there's no way that they want to come back to Infusionsoft after they read it, right? That's what we want.
Yeah. I know your website's a good example of having video testimonials.
Yeah,
they go a long way. So yeah, it's a good example.
I use the exact same thing actually. Is
yeah,
that headline,
I know,
client interview? It's a Zoom call, not even edited. It's the exact same thing.
Nice.
Right. So the last thing that we want to cover, right, is actually really relevant, and it looks like we're still on track in terms of time, is the call to actions that people want to take, right? So what most companies do is they're not really clear on the next steps that people have to take in order to try the product or book a call, or they don't package it in a way that people actually want to take it. So once I show you examples, it'll make more sense. But what we want to do is we want to frame the call to action as something they actually want to take, something that the next step is actually valuable, right? So I'll show you a few examples. So this is from the company that like gathers all the pictures you take of the shipments, so you avoid claims, right? So the same company. And what we did is we said that 80% of users actually make inspections 2 times faster, even during the free trial. So we're reminding them that during the free trial, they can get the results before they even pay. They can see the results, right? They don't need any additional tech because it works from a smartphone. They can try it for 14 days. There's no contract, right? So it makes it as irresistible as possible because, man, I can get the results during the trial. You can get the results regardless if I have this headline or not. It's just reminding them of that stuff. Wouldn't you want to take a trial after this?
Yeah. Again, another great example of using bullet points or check marks. Mm-hmm. Actually, checkpoints are even better than bullet points. Little green check emojis. They're just much more attractive to kind of read through than even a little circular bullet point. So yeah, again, the similar theme to what we're talking about here is just you'll try and explain that in a couple of sentences in the paragraph, but just breaking it down to those bullet points when you're talking about everything. So even the demo or the free trial. Yeah. Tell people what they're going to get. I see so many times of people do a good job at explaining their product and maybe the benefits, and they just have a button that says book a demo. And it's like, yeah, but I want to know what a demo is. Is it going to take 2 hours of my time? Is it going to be a sales call? So you can say nice things like, it's a 15-minute demo or a 30-minute demo. We're going to cover the following areas. This is what you're going to learn on the demo. Even put big like font saying, not a sales call, no obligation, because people don't like demos because they're worried it's going to be a sales call. So just, again, kind of handling those objections.
I'm glad you're saying this because this is the example I'm going to show you after this one is exactly where you're talking about. Just the other angle that you can use for this, and you can also use it in sign-up pages, is you can also say that during the free trial, you get unlimited projects or unlimited team members to use it. Because, for example, stuff that is around creating projects between the team, that is a big objection. So reminding them that you can have that makes them more likely to invite their team as well, or just sign up in the first place. I've tested that with that interior design process clients. We're testing that at the moment, and I'm sure it's going to work well because the previous weeks we did that and it just worked crazy well. Right? So that example that you're talking about is essentially what we're talking about here in terms of framing the demo as something actually really valuable. So I had this client that had a tool for YouTube ads. So essentially he can show you keywords and placements that you cannot see from the Google's interface. They just don't show you, right? So what we did is, okay, so if you can track this insight so easily, what we can do is we can frame the demo as a consultation, right? So want to see how you can improve your YouTube ads with Adzilla? We're going to show you targeting, like how you can improve your targeting, how you can find better keywords. We're going to show you stuff that your competitors are using that you cannot track with Google, right? And then you get the free YouTube ads consultation, and we'd even show you how much experience this guy has. It's probably like 30 something, even though he looks older. And this is a call with the founder and all that stuff, right? So this is insanely valuable. Is actually valuable for them because we can give them the tips while showing the product. Because while we open up, let's say they're targeting someone that has a YouTube channel for, like, I don't know, a gym program, a workout program or something, they want to do ads as well.
Yeah.
You can literally pull it up and find keywords that their competitors are not using, and then you can make ads profitable. They can do it on the fly, on the call, while showing the products. It's just valuable for everyone.
Yeah, just really selling the free trial or the consultation or the demo rather than just having it as a call to action button. Yeah, love it.
Yep, exactly. Right, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, before we get onto the Q&A, which we have got a few questions come through in the chat. I've got a couple on the email, which are quite interesting questions. So tell us, Pedro, you've obviously taught everyone, hopefully, some really valuable information. But if people want more from you, where can they find you if they wanted to work with you, so you know you could help them do this kind of a bit more one-on-one bespoke? How would they go about doing that?
Yeah, so they can find me at cortes.design, like the link has here. And what they can do is they can book a strategy call. Essentially, it's a call that after we figure out if I can help you in the first place, because I do have like a sweet spot for clients depending on volume and the product they offer and the sort of niche they have. Essentially, what we want to do is we want to have a look at your website and figure out what are all the opportunities that we can convert better. What are the things that might be keeping people from signing up in the first place? And we can obviously go over the process and pricing and all that stuff, right? So it's literally a call to try to outline all the opportunities we have. And this is literally just 5 tweaks from one page. Imagine all the stuff that we have about attracting higher quality leads, or improving the pricing page so more people sign up to higher plans, or getting more demos in the first place, or improving the sign up page. Like literally, there are a million things that you can be doing. And that's what if you want to figure that out and how it applies to your company, just go ahead and book a call with me, and we can figure out all the opportunities we have to perhaps squeeze anywhere between 50 to 100% more revenue out of the traffic you already have. That's the goal.
Awesome. And Pedro has a great LinkedIn account. So fine, if you go on LinkedIn, search Pedro Cortés, you will be able to follow him, and he does a ton of breakdowns. I love your breakdowns. He goes through SaaS landing pages and just insults them, dropping F-bombs all over the place, saying how bad they are for XYZ reasons, and how he would go about improving those landing pages, which is really insightful. It certainly taught me a lot. And then if you wanted to learn more about Rocket SaaS, if you're basically a SaaS company with a very limited marketing department, you're trying to do LinkedIn campaigns, you're trying to do email marketing, you're trying to do video marketing, webinars like this, just developing that marketing funnel, but you just don't have the staff because you don't have the resources, you can consider partnering with an agency. We start at roughly the same as what you would pay an employee, say £3,000 a month. And we basically make your marketing department go poof overnight. So if you're interested in having a chat with me, you can go on our website, rocket-saas.io. I do a free strategy call as well, so that's often a good place to start. But let's go to Q&A quickly. We've had a few questions come through. We've got a couple of minutes. First one was from Barbara. Sliders, how bad are they for conversion? So yes, sliders, often called carousels. How can you help convince other people on the team to get rid of sliders? I can probably answer that one because I talk about this a lot. Basically, I always say, if you've got something interesting to say, if you've got something that you actually want people to read, don't put it on slide number 2, 3, 4, or 5, because people probably won't look at it. I mean, the data will tell you that they're not. Just because attention spans are so short, people will come onto your homepage, they'll look at slide 1, they won't read everything, they'll skim it, and then they'll scroll right past it. They won't even realize it's a slider. And by the time they scroll down, it's stuck on slide 1, slide 2, 3, 4, 5 are happening after they've scrolled down.
Yeah.
So yeah, people make massive mistakes by putting value on slides 2, 3, 4.
Perhaps another way to convince the team as well is that people scroll naturally, like the way they naturally scroll is like vertically. So if you have something horizontally, then they're probably not even going to notice, right? Or it's not going to be as easy, or it's not going to like flow as well. So they'll just keep scrolling down and scroll right past the slides that you came up with, just like Ryan was saying.
Yeah, sliders used to be good when people took a bit more time on websites, but the data is just showing that people are spending less and less time on pages, short attention spans, so people don't have time to wait for sliders to scroll anymore. So yeah, we don't really recommend sliders. Next question from Valentin. Could you get the recording? Yes, if everyone that's registered will get the recording. We'll try and get that out to you tomorrow or Friday at the latest. Tom, would you include all of these steps as would you include all of these steps like objection handlers and the aha moments, everything that you've talked about, would you include that all on the homepage?
Like often I do like all of these tweaks in once. Like I wanted to show before and after results for every single one. But because like when I work with clients, we change as much stuff as possible. So we make the best version as possible. So we get like a really big result. I like couldn't cover like before and after for all of them. So I do most of them, but the only thing you need to be careful about is you're not going to have, for example, out of the 5 categories of objection handlers you have, you're not going to have all of them at once, or it's unlikely, or you just answer it in a different way. Right? Or maybe with logos at the top, or provide a few glimpses of each one as you go.
Yeah,
right?
I think you definitely want to get all of it on the homepage, but yeah, maybe not all of them. So for example, we talked about integrations. So maybe on the homepage you wouldn't list every single integration, but you would list the main ones, and then you say click here for more. And I think that would be the main theme. I think the homepage should be like a snippet of each of the best bits.
Yeah.
So I think definitely cover, an overview. Definitely cover everything that Pedro's gone through on the homepage. But if you feel it's getting lengthy or you want to go into more detail, then lead people to another page.
Yeah. And another point, just so we have a little bit more value towards that one, is every landing page doesn't sell you on their products. It sells you on the next step. So it sells you on getting a trial, of giving you enough information to get a trial, and giving you enough information for you to want to book a demo, not sell you on the entire product. Because if you try to sell the entire product, it's likely that you talk too much, just like in a sales call, and then they'll raise unnecessary objections, and then you're screwed.
Yeah, like that. Next question from Sam. I can answer this one very quickly. Would you recommend embedding Trustpilot reviews on your homepage? And if so, whereabouts? We have 4.9 out of 5. The answer is yes, definitely, and at the top in the hero. So if you've got a good Trustpilot review and you've got a decent number of people that have reviewed it, then that's really, really, really valuable. So I would definitely get that in the hero. I'd probably have the headline, then I'd have like the little subtext underneath, maybe some tick bullet points to outline the benefits, and then I'd have the Trustpilot below that. So as long as that's not too busy, I definitely get that in there. A couple more here from Camille. Is there value in offering multiple high intent conversion options? For example, pricing, demo, consultancy calls. So yeah, what do you think about having loads of call to actions?
So it's like most of the time you should avoid it. What you want to do is you want to understand how people are used to buying, right? So for example, let's say with small businesses, this is an example that a lot of companies don't use, but it tends to work quite well. Let's say with small businesses, you're selling to like, let's say like a car dealership, right? And they're used to doing like sales and booking test drives on the phone, right? They're used to buying like that. So the way they're used to selling is most likely the way that they're most receptive to buying, right? So let's say if they do a lot of sales on a phone, they might be really receptive to you leaving the phone number for them to call as an alternative to booking a demo, right? But ideally, you don't want to have more than two. You want to have like just the main call to action, ideally the path that you want them to take, and then an alternative that is a lower commitment, but is also something that you can advance in some way, right?
Yeah, I agree. I always look at it as pick a main call to action, and then what we call an alternate call to action. So the main call to action is usually book a demo or free trial. But you need to be aware that not everybody wants to do that because it's going to take a lot of their time to have a demo or do a free trial. So you want a lesser one, which like 15-minute intro call is a good one that I've seen get good results from, or something like sign up to our newsletter, download our ebook, join our webinar coming up next week, something a bit more top of funnel that's not going to involve like that much time, basically for people that aren't quite ready to buy yet. But having a demo or having a free trial means like I'm ready to go. So you just need to be aware lots of people aren't quite there yet. So yeah, I'd probably recommend a 15-minute intro call if that works for you. So having two, one is the main call to action, one is the alternate, and put them next to each other. Put the main one in the big bright font, big bright button color, and put the other one as like an outline color. So it's clearly that this is the main one, this is the secondary one.
Yeah. So that could work quite well. The one that has the order portal that was talked about before, we're now testing something where they can book a demo, but if they're as a retargeting ad, or if they try to leave the page, they get like a pop-up that says, do you want to request a price for a fully custom app for you, right? So we know that they're requesting a price for agencies to build it like a software from scratch. So we know that they care about that call to action, even if the pricing isn't public and all that stuff, right? So this is how they're used to buying. So we adapt to it, right? So that's my answer, is to always figure out how they're used to buying and adapt to it accordingly.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Sorry if we didn't get to your questions, anyone else that asked them, but got to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for everybody that's attending. Thank you particularly for those that stayed on a little bit later. Hope you're not late for any meetings. And like I said earlier, we will be getting this onto the website, and we'll be sending this out via email to everybody. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, or obviously you can kind of go back through this, you can obviously pause the video and just have a good look at these examples that we've shown you and try and like adapt that to your website. And yeah, if you want any kind of one-on-one advice, follow both of us on LinkedIn and pop us a message, and we'd be delighted to help you. So again, thank you so much, everybody, particularly you, Pedro. You've been awesome. Thank you for providing so much value. I'm sure it's not the last we've heard of you. I look forward to you on the next Rocket SaaS workshop. And yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, enjoy your day, guys. Hopefully it was valuable.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers.